Okay, sports fans, we are back. It's what time is it? It's probably 6:45, quarter to close to 7. So it's been more than an hour. So let's see what we have here. All right. On this side, we have ooh, some good stiffness. You can hear that there. It's definitely smooth, rough, smooth, rough. But this is more stiff. This is more soft, I guess. Let's look at the 100% butyl side. This is fantastic. I mean, this is done. Hopefully you can see this in the light. The 100% butyl side, except for this one part here. Maybe I'll find a way to push that off of there. They'll probably leave a dimple. But yeah, this is done. Yeah, I couldn't ask for any better results than that. The only downside that I see is the sheen. It is shiny. I don't know if there's a way around the shininess. I want to say that when I spoke to the good folks at SIG, that they have a version that leaves a more matte finish. I also believe they told me that if you put the material in the freezer beforehand and get it really cold, you get a more matte finish. I'll have to confirm that, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, this is wow. This is great. This is great. I hope that's showing up pretty well. This is done. And like I said, I see some differences in the sheen. I think this is probably from the nitrate. So it looks like maybe with the nitrate dope, I didn't get a good coverage. So note to self, make sure I get a good coverage on that. But this is great. And this is coming along nicely. I think with the brush surface, actually, if I really wanted to, I could call this side done. With the sprayed on, I think there's still a little bit more that could be done there. Maybe if it sits a little longer, the butyl will tighten up some more. I don't know. But that's why we're doing this. Let's look at this one here. This still has some lumps and some recessed areas. So this 50/50, it's doing it slowly, I believe, slowly but surely. But it would take more coats. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. Just more time consuming. So I'm gonna keep at it. I'm going to go ahead and put another coat on this. So there's probably no need in you watching me do the same thing I've been doing. So I'm gonna put another coat of the 50/50. What am I trying to achieve? I just want to see what happens. There's at some point there's going to be a point of diminishing returns where there's no point in going any further. But I want to see if this can get anywhere near as good as this. Okay, so that's the plan. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna check back. You can probably see it is dusk, and I'm sure by the time I come back it's going to be dark, and that'll probably be it for the night, because I don't like being mosquito food. Alright, so that's the plan, and we'll do that. Okay, sports fans, we are back at it again, Okay, what you see here is the result of not 12, not 24, not even 36, but 48 hours after I did that last application. and I am a bit amazed. I'm awed. I'm like, wow. All right, so let's start off with the obvious. This is the 100% butyl. Now, remember I said we already saw great results with that. It's nice and taut. I mean, literally, like a drum, like a drum. You may even remember this part right here that was stuck to the rib beneath it. On its own, it popped off. I didn't have to do anything. So as it tightened just enough that it said. Actually, yeah, I heard it go. Nah, actually, no, I didn't. But yeah, it popped off. So that you can still see a little bit of the depression. I'm assuming you can see that. But yeah, this is nice and tight. This is great. This is beautiful. So, but that was as we already knew. That was as expected, and great results. Now we move to the other side. Just as the tape shows here, we brushed on this side and we sprayed on this side. And again, I thought I was going to have to put another coat on, but no, this one came out just right. It's nice and taut here, drum tight, but you can hear a difference. Nice and tight. This is actually nice and tight, but you don't hear it vibrate. This is nice and quiet and calm. This is the sprayed side. This is the brush side with the 50-50. The whole thing was done 50-50 mix of nitrate and 50-50 mix of butyrate. Now, here's the difference. This side, the weave is fully filled in. This side, it is not. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can't. I'm using my GoPro application on my phone, so I can finally, hopefully, get some decent in-frame shots. And now for the other camera. Okay, hopefully you can see. I'll give it a chance, hopefully, to autofocus. Okay, so this weave is not filled in. Actually, I want to do a little experiment. See if I can't get some liquid in here. I'll drop some on here. Okay, would help if it actually sucked in some. Okay, let's try it this way. I'll put a drop here. And what's my app telling me? Sorry, we can't connect to the cloud service at this time. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can see that this drop here, it just beat it up on the surface. Okay. And I would assume the same is here, clearly. Oop, that was a lot of water. Oh no, Mr. Bill. Oh well. All right, rag there. Now, I haven't done this yet. We're seeing this together for the first time. I'm going to expect that the water is going to go through this weave here. You see, it doesn't move around. It's because this surface is more coarse. The water's holding on, but it's not soaking through. I thought it would have gone through, but I suspect that it can and it will go through. Anyway, see, it's soaking through now. There you go. Hopefully you can see that. Had to get through the surface tension, I'm guessing. But if I help it along, the water's gone through. All right, so this is still porous. And now keep in mind, this was the side that we did all airbrushing. We brushed on the nitrate layer, we brushed on the butane, and I'm sorry, we sprayed on. Get it right, Jordan. We sprayed on the nitrate layer, we sprayed on the butane layers, no brushing. And I think that's the downside to this. While this is nice and,
It's not as rigid. The problem is it's porous. Now, if for whatever reason you want a porous finish, that's all well and good. But I would imagine for an airplane, while it will probably still fly, it won't fly as well as this surface where none of the liquid can penetrate. And of course, keep in mind, obviously, that air is liquid. It's fluid dynamics at its best. So we don't want any of that to be able to permeate. So what I think we have to do here is maybe those first couple of coats of nitrate have to be brushed to seal the surface. And then if you want, you can spray. So that's my conclusion. We can test that theory later on. Like I said, I plan on building a couple more of these here mock wings to try some stuff out. But I think I've achieved enough here for my intended purpose, which is to move forward with actually covering the wings of my plane. So I think I've learned enough. What do I favor out of all of this? I actually like the way this ended up. I like the brush and it being matte and it not being shiny like the 100% of the nitrate. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that it's the nitrate that gives it the shiny sheen. And I say that because you can see a couple of spots here, here, and here where the nitrate dope, when I was doing the 100% on this side, when it dripped down and dripped through. And that was before I put the butyl on. I just happen to remember that. So these are shiny, and this is from the nitrate and smooth and everything else. So my hypothesis is if I were to brush on the nitrate and then spray on the butyl, then I would end up somewhere in between the two. Sorry for the dimming of the lights. It's raining cats and dogs outside, and my sump pump kicked in, which is all on the same circuit here in the basement. Any case, what would that give me? I don't know. But yeah, I really like this. And actually, I was a bit premature because I was going to say, I wasn't really crazy about this with the 50-50. Maybe if we did 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. But no, I think I really like how this turned out here. The 50-50 on the nitrate and the 50-50 on the butyrate. Let's see. Got a nice bounce to it. Got a bounce. Anyway, that's enough of that. All right, so just want to make this quick video to say I'm going to call this particular nitrate doping trials complete or complete enough. I may get to later on after I finish the wings of my Fokker D7. I may get to the point where I go back and do the doping trials, the next edition, where I do the other experiments with maybe different mix rates and brushing and spraying or whatever. I don't know. And of course, I still want to try the Randolph that I have to see how that works. Any case, I'm going to call this done, and this will be the final episode of these doping trials. If you have any questions, nope, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I do have one more thing to do. I'm glad someone just kept me honest, kept me in check here. So as far as the dope goes, that's done, I think. What I still have to do is on this wing, I have to do the other side. Oops, forgot about all the water. So I still have to apply the Stitz fabric and seal it and close it down just to make sure that everything works well with what I plan to do with my plane. One thing actually that kind of turned out to be very informative. I don't know how well you can see it here. This cut where I sanded through the cloth. So I think that's actually going to end up being beneficial because you can see how it's curling and pulling away. And there's another smaller one here. You can't see it as well. And I say that's beneficial because on my wing, I have the cutout for the servo hatch. And so I was kind of debating, should I, when I go to cover and I glue the material down before I do any doping, should I glue the edge of the material to the hatch opening, or do the doping first and let it get to the tautness, and then cut out the hatch opening, and then adhere that. And I'm thinking that based on this, if I cut it first, it's going to give me curling. So I don't know. I'm still not 100% sold on which way I'm going to go. Of course, with the gluing, like I did here, it's not going to curl. But I don't know. I think I may just go ahead and glue it, and I may glue it afterwards. I haven't decided yet. But in any case, that's viable feedback, I would say. Useful or not. All right, so I have that one last step to do to put the stitz on, and I absolutely wanted to do that today, but as I mentioned, it is raining to beat the band outside, so I cannot do that today. And this stuff is, yes, way too aromatic to do it inside the house. Speaking of that, since I mentioned it's been about 2 days, this has been sitting outside, finishing gassing off, and for the most part, if you're up close, you can still smell it. But I've had it inside the house today, and that, let's say that's from the 36 forward hour mark, or was it even from 24 hours ago? But it has gassed off sufficiently enough, I would say, that like if you're in a basement or a garage away from the main part of your house, I don't think you'll smell it at this point inside your house. So, just to be on the safe side, you may want to give it 48 or 72 hours outside, letting it finish gassing off and getting off the fumes. But I would say, definitely after 72 hours, you should probably be pretty safe, unless you're someone else in the house has like one of those supersonic semi-bionic noses, and like I said, like my wife, she can smell a gnat fart at 50 paces upwind. So yeah. Any case, that's all I have for this episode. I would say the final episode will be me going through, or episodes, because I think it's going to take more. Actually, you know what? I think this got drawn on long enough. I will do that final one episode. It may be a little long. I'll go through the process of putting the stitz on. I won't do the long, lengthy video like I've done during the doping trial. So it may be 20-30 minutes, but I'll make it a single episode, and I'll show the whole process. I'll just chop it up and fast forward and whatever, so that it's not multiple episodes. So in any case, that's where we are now. I hope you've learned something, because I know I definitely have. I like this. I like it. It is time consuming. As I mentioned, this has been about a week, and I've had breaks in between for other things. The nitrate dope, as I mentioned before, took longer to dry than the butyl does. So that's where you're going to spend most of your time. The fastest drying was the airbrushing. So even if you do a 50-50, a couple of coats of nitrate first to seal, you could probably then finish up with airbrushing if, for speed purposes. And definitely the 50-50, even with the nitrate and the butyl, dried faster than the 100%. So keep that in mind if you're on a time crunch. Thin it out, let it dry a little quicker, and then you're good to go. All right, so with that said, it'll probably be, I know it's going to be a while before I get to that stitz. Like I said, it's raining, and then I won't be able to do anything tomorrow. I have an activity after work. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, if you're keeping track of my days here of when I first started this. So this is the following Tuesday from when I started. and I have an activity Wednesday evening and probably an activity Thursday, and I know I have an activity Friday. So unless I get really lucky, I probably won't be able to get back to this until the weekend. So that's where we are. All right, sports fans, I'll see you on the next and final episode. And till then, toodaloo, deuces.